Okay. All right. Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. So thank you for coming on to our call, the Fab Five call. I have to put apologies in for Ken and Ron and Lee. Lee's having a few problems with the internet today. But this call is just to give you we may not go for the whole hour. So it's just really to give you a base rundown on what's happening for Australia and New Zealand as we're leading into the 3 events that we've got coming up, and as we open up into Australia, which is quite thankfully, it's very extraordinarily exciting for us. So what we've got coming, we're predicting that we're looking at having product within the next, by the end of August, it's going to be available. And we haven't got a fixed date on that yet, but that's happening for us. So once that happens, Dr. Eugène will announce that, so that will come through corporate. But everything's on schedule for the plan for where we're needing to be at from what he has told me, which is good. So that's all exciting. But the most exciting part for us is that we do have 3 events that we have organised. And so the first one is in Sydney on the 25th of August. And then we've got one in the Gold Coast on the 16th of September. And then we've got an event in Perth on the 6th of October. Now, each one of these events, they've been set up and designed for that you go onto Eventbrite and you can register, or you can invite people to go and register, and they need to go in to register to be eligible for the promotions that are available. So that's really important that when you are sharing that you let them know that they need to go onto Eventbrite to register. Now, they've got on each day, the day stops even though the event has finished. We've got additional presentations that if people want to have after the scheduled presentation that we're going to run. And that's by invitation and by pre-arranged, so that we can accommodate everybody if they cannot get to that time schedule that we have on the event. Now also with that, in saying that also, that with the events themselves, if they cannot register online for whatever reason, they can register at the door. So there's going to be people that are going to welcome them as they come in, and so as a distributor, you'll be able to register, and as a guest, you'll be registering as well. Now, the big important factor as to why this is important that they need to do that, we've got an 11:30 cutoff point, so 11:30 at night. So for those people, like if you decided that you wanted to register for Sydney and you want people to be able to take advantage of the promos, then you need to make sure that they have registered on Eventbrite, because they're going straight through to head office. So everything's been linked in. So I'm letting everybody know that even though there's a group of people that have put this together in conjunction with iGalen and under the guidance of Dr. Eugène, everything's got complete transparency. So everything's going back to the girls in the head office so they can see exactly what's going on the whole time. So it's not just a group of a few of us that are putting this together. It is being monitored, and we've been guided by Utul and Whaling. They've been doing a lot of work in the head office for us. So just so people know that's the transparency's there. So it's not something because iGalen hasn't got a physical presence there and we are running it as a group. They still are very much there in the backdrop for us. So with each event that we've got presentations for it. So we're going to be looking at addressing the problem in regards to what carbohydrates are doing for our communities and for the world globally, and in regards to what statistics are doing to communities, what's happening to our families, and really targeting and locking in the aspect as to why people actually need Emulin. So we're going to address what the problems are and provide statistics in that area, and then we're going to give them a solution and run through what the products are, so what the availability is in regards to Emulin M and C. So for Australia, we'll be then going into a full compensation plan, which we haven't had the ability to be able to offer beforehand. So it'll be a full compensation plan for Emulin M and C. And then for Climax and for Emulin E, they will still run as a future product, and they will be they'll be for personal use only. So that will continue to go where we'll be able to order them, but they will be ordered as for personal use only until they are registered. So once Emulin M and C is actually live and we are actually ordering out of the distribution centre itself, Emulin E will then be submitted for TGA approval. So what the time frame on that will be, I'm not quite sure. I don't know that. But what we do know is that M&C will be a complete compensation plan. Emulin E and Climax will still continue to be exactly the same as what it is, and that is that you're going to be able to order that for your own personal use only. So for Australia, you can only bring in 1 to 3 bottles at a time. That is all. Nothing else. It will not let you order anything above that anyway. So eventually for us, looking at Climax is going to be coming out of New Zealand. That's the plan. So they're going to get FDA approval through New Zealand. So we'll be importing Climax from New Zealand, and we will be getting Emulin out of Sydney long term. But short term for us, M&C is what we're launching with. So, and that's going to be pretty exciting because it's an Australian-made product with TGA approval. So it really does carry a lot of credibility, and it's taken a long time to get to this process. But the good thing being, not so much for the company, because Australia is the most difficult country to get anything passed through legislation. But once it's passed, it's got a lot of credibility going into the Asian countries, which I know that's a projection in stage 2, as Dr. Eugène explained, I think, in one of the calls, that we're in stage 1 with the countries that we've launched into. So stage 2 will then be going into other countries in 2019. That's the projection, I think, for where they're looking to head. And Asia and China will be those countries heading into stage 2. What the time frame will be, I'm not sure. But for us, having Australian products heading there is an exciting thing. So if you've got clients that are down here or prospective customers that you think that you want to try and bring on board, which I'm sure some of you would know Australians down here, get them to register on Eventbrite. That's really important. And as I said, because there's going to be a list. Once that cut-off point, if they haven't registered on Eventbrite, once we finish that registration at 11:30 at night, it gets sent through to the girls at head office, or for those that are at the event and they have registered in handwriting, we send the lists through. Unless they're on that list or on that registration list, they will not be available for the promotions. It will not matter. There is no negotiation. There's no excuses. So, and there's no reason why you cannot actually go on there and actually register. So, and you've got 3 chances to be able to register too. So you can register in Sydney, you can register in the Gold Coast, and you can register in Perth. So, as I said, so the promotions that we do have that you can actually purchase a silver pack and go to gold. So that's promotion number 1. Promo number 2 is purchasing a gold pack and get elevated to platinum, but the sponsoring person actually gets 50% extra BV on their strong side, on the strong leg. That's going from gold to platinum. Now, if there's an existing distributor there that is maybe at bronze or at silver, or they're at 7 bottles and they want to get to platinum, they can purchase whatever they need to get to platinum. So if I say, for example, that they're on 7 bottles of product and that's where they're sitting and they need 3 to get to gold, they cannot buy 3 bottles and go to gold and then be elevated to platinum. They need to buy the 13 bottles to go to platinum. And then the sponsor is going to get 400 points extra BV on their strong leg. So the person that's purchasing those extra bottles, they're going to get to go to platinum, and they're going to be able to buy the products and just go straight through. But as a sponsor, they're the ones that are going to possibly benefit the most, because they'll get the BV on the bottles that they're buying, but they're also getting 400 points extra on their strong leg given to them as well for that. So they're the 3 promos that are sitting there for Australia as at this point in time. For those people that have been on $29.95, so they joined 18 months ago when we first started, and they've just been sitting in the system. We have asked if they can actually be involved in these promotions, but they cannot. So the only way that anybody, these are for promos for new people only that are coming on board. So for those people that have been sitting there and waiting on $29.95 for 15, 16, 17 months, they need to basically purchase a gold pack or a platinum pack. There is no promotion there for them. They needed to have started that process before this. So we did try, but in regards to the company, they needed to have started doing something prior to this, so they are not eligible for those promotions if they've been sitting on $29.95. You know, it was a question to think, well, you know, maybe if they decided to rejoin again, but they lose all the business volume that they've got that's accumulated in underneath them, so it doesn't make sense for them to do that. So they basically have to work their way up to platinum on their own. They've passed that 8-week period. But if you've got people that you want to join up now and get them ready and pay their $29.95, we've only got 1 week until Sydney, or 9 days until Sydney. If they're within the 8-week period, so I joined 2 people up yesterday and I joined a person up a month ago. So they've got 8 weeks. So they're still working on 8 weeks and they can take advantage of these promotions. So any of these dates that we have that are coming up, if you want to sign somebody up and get them in the system and pay their $29.95, so long as they take advantage of one of these promotions within the 8-week period, they're then eligible as a new distributor to be able to take advantage of these promotions that are available for them. So that's just something to be aware of, that you can start getting them into the system, because it's going to make it a lot easier for you. If you've already got them committed, then all you have to do is place the order on the day, and it goes through for them on that side of it. So realistically, what you are looking at, you've got 8 weeks. So from the time that they sign up, you've still got that 8-week period, and they can take advantage of those promotions. So to make it very plain and simple, there are promotions that are available, and they need to be at that event to be able to take advantage of the phenomenal promotions. But there's extra promotions as well that are available that if they are not registered, they will not be able to take advantage of them. So if they want to take advantage of them, then make sure that they're registered on Eventbrite, because otherwise they will not be eligible. And they need to make sure that they have registered before the end of that day. So they can register all the way up to Sydney. They can register now for the Gold Coast. They can register for Perth. And if you're looking at this as a strategic business aspect, if you've got people that are in Perth, get them to register for Sydney and get them to start working the business there. Because if you get a new person that registers in Sydney and they take advantage of the promotions that are available, they then will get the ability to be able to start and grow their team as a new person, because they can register their new people that they think that may be available for the Gold Coast, which is in 3 weeks' time, and so forth. So if you can think about it logistically and think about it as a business proposition, but if you're living in Perth and you want to take advantage of what the promos are in Sydney, register in Sydney, purchase your packs as a new person, and then start and invite the people for the Gold Coast, and start and invite the people for Perth as well, and take advantage of those promotions at each area. Because it's a quick way to be able to develop your team very fast if you strategically look at it that way. Now, where New Zealand is concerned, so if you've got people that are in New Zealand and you're wanting to bring them on board, this is has been quite a tough one for New Zealand people, because they have a $400 New Zealand import tax duty, or import duty taxes. So they can't exceed anything that they're importing in that exceeds 400 New Zealand dollars. So for us, underneath our compensation plan, they can order a bronze pack, They can upgrade to a silver pack, and then they can upgrade to a gold pack, because a gold pack is $224 US, as we know. That keeps them in underneath that $400 New Zealand dollars, underneath that import duty taxes for them. So I'm suggesting, and we've got quite a few New Zealand distributors here in Australia that are wanting to expand into New Zealand, to get them to prepay their money into an Australian account and get them to actually purchase their gold pack for them as a new distributor in Australia, and then post their products back to them in the 3 packages, because you're going to get the fast start bonus, and then you're also then going to get the ability to be able to bring that person on board, go gold to platinum, but pay for their postage and send it back in 3 different packages for them. So it's keeping it in underneath the 400 New Zealand import tax duty that they will pay if it goes over the top. And it's really hefty for them. So that's a way of helping a New Zealand distributor to be able to get to platinum, is to pre-organise for them to be able to transfer money across into your account, and then you're able to purchase their gold pack for them and then send it from Australia back to them that way. So if you've got people like that, contact somebody in Australia that can help you out, because that's a way of being able to take advantage if they're a new distributor, to be able to do that, because we're not going to New Zealand, we're not going to Victoria, we're not going to South Australia, Northern Territory. So there's a few states that we're not going to, and then of course not everyone's going to be able to get to these events. So that's why it's really important that they do register on Eventbrite to be able to take advantage of these promotions. So has anybody got any questions at all?
Jackie, I just wanted to, the question I had for you yesterday, will Eventbrite still let somebody register up till 11:30 the night of, when it's scheduled to end at 2 in the afternoon? I just wondered if logistically Eventbrite would still allow that.
Yes, we've changed that after you asked me yesterday. Angela Johnson's been looking after that and been doing a phenomenal job. So she's gone through and changed that so that we've got, it's going to cater then for globally. So for you people, that if you want to actually then register somebody on there and still be able to take advantage of that promotion, you're able to do that. So it's up to 11:30 Sydney Eastern Standard Time that they'll be able to still register on Eventbrite. Because, and as I said, these promotions are for new people only, that's silver to gold, and there's no extra BV involved with this. And then there's gold to platinum, and they get 50% extra BV, the sponsor, on their strong leg. And just to remind you that the people that are existing distributors that haven't made it to gold yet or to platinum, they need to purchase the remainder, what they need to get to platinum. Obviously the BV you're going to take advantage of, but if you can encourage those people to do that at that promotion on that day, then you as the sponsor also get an extra 400 BV on your strong leg. So if you're needing extra product, if they're needing extra product, if you can try and explain to them that there's a way around that they're able to now sell the product legally, then it's in their best advantage that they actually come on board and they buy the extra product, get themselves to platinum, and then they are at the lowest wholesale price to move forward and take advantage of the compensation plan. So it's a good way to try and encourage them to do that. It's a little bit of extra workload as a sponsor to do that and explain that to them, but the benefit being is that you're going to be getting 400 extra BV on your strong leg as well. So it's not a bad idea, not a bad offer. But as I said, just to make sure people are aware that the existing $29.95 people that have just been sitting and waiting because we've had such a long journey because of TGA, they are not eligible for any of those promotions. They have to just work their way back up to platinum as if they've exceeded the 8-week period. So any other questions that anyone's got? No, you're all quiet. Wow. Okay. So what we need you to do then is to try and invite and encourage as many people along as you possibly can, because obviously the ones that are there, there's extra promotions that are going to be available. So you need to pop along, and we can't tell you what they are, but to make sure that you are there at the event, if you can send people along to them, because there's going to be extra promos that will be announced on the day. So it's worthwhile being there on the day if you've got Australians that you want to invite along to Sydney on the 25th of August, and to the Gold Coast on the 16th of September, and to Perth on the 6th of October. So you've got the promos that I've explained to you, but then we've got extra ones or extra things that are happening at the event themselves, but you do have to be there for that to be able to take advantage of those. So it's worthwhile doing that if you can get people to come along. And also if they're new people, they're going to be educated, they're going to be involved, understand how iGalen is, learn about the product. Dr. Eugène's actually live feeding into Sydney. So he's going to be there to answer some questions for people. At this stage, we don't know. It just depends on his travel arrangements, as we haven't got him locked into the Gold Coast or to Perth yet. But we do know that he's available for Sydney, which is brilliant. So at least we're going to have him to be able to take questions. What we're going to try and do with it is to set up a Zoom like this, and I've spoken to the audio visual people, and to set that up at in the conference room itself, and be able to just live feed. So if people want to tap in on this Zoom link, they can just watch and listen and see what's going on. So it'll just be an open link so people can come and go and listen to what's happening. So at least you can be included yourself if you want to see what's happening, especially for Australians that can't make it. So if they want to be able to listen to the presentation as it's unfolding, they can do that as well. So that's what we're looking to do too. So we can try and involve and bring people into the room if they can't get into the room physically themselves. Because like you guys, where you live, Australia is such a huge, vast area. So if you live in Perth, Perth is just such a small little, probably about a 1% of what Western Australia itself, the state, holds. So there's a big, vast state there that there's a lot of people that it's a 1 to 2 hour flight to get to the top of the, or 3 hour flight to get to the top of Western Australia. So, and it's the same for Queensland, Northern Territory, South Australia, Victoria, because we're not going down that way as well. So this is why we're trying to do these events, that everyone's going to be able to benefit from it, so long as they register on Eventbrite. And if you have got people that cannot do that, please send them through to any of us that you know, and we'll make sure that they are written down and registered on the written one, and make sure that they are for you as well. So any questions?
Sounds good, Jack.
Nice that you got on board, Lee.
Oh, moving house is such a joy, especially when the internet decides that it's going to do some strange things.
Yeah.
Half an hour with support. But anyway, moving on.
Yeah.
Hey, Jackie, just in terms of clarifying for just people that are already distributors, so they don't need to do any of the promo, like they're already at, say, platinum. In terms of them being able to order, their ability to order will happen when Sydney goes live. Is that? That's
correct. As soon as we've got product available, those that are at platinum, they're free to order. It's a full compensation plan. And from that point in time, once we become live, then they will look at, Dr. Eugène will then give us a date, which is approximately 8 weeks, that we will then be going into auto ship in 8 weeks' time. So we've got an 8-week grace from when we actually go live, where we've got product availability, that in 8 weeks preceding that, auto ship will then commence for us here in Australia and New Zealand. Whereas at this point in time, we haven't had to do that. Sorry, Lee?
Sorry, is that from the date in Sydney?
Yes.
Okay.
So once we start, originally it was to be the 1st of October. So 2 months after. So whenever it is that we actually do get product availability, it will be 8 weeks after that. That's something that's been agreed upon, that auto ship will commence from then for people. So, you know, you guys know how that works. So if you get 3 customers in underneath you each month, it's a very profitable thing to do. And it's 3 separate customers for those that haven't had that opportunity to do that yet. So it's not one person that's buying 3 bottles. It's 3 separate customers that are buying a bottle. There isn't any business volume associated to it, but the big bonus is that you're getting, if you're a platinum member, you're getting $28 per bottle in commission on that, and you're getting your auto ship, your 1 bottle sent to you free. So shipment's free, the product's free, and you get paid for the 3 bottles that those customers have ordered in underneath you in your commission in about 3 weeks after. So it's a win-win situation, realistically. So it's just getting 3 separate customers, but there isn't any business volume attached to it. That's the only thing with it. Which you guys would be aware of that in Canada and the States because you've been working with it already. So we're we're past excited. I'm probably a little bit tired, but I mean, we're past excited. But the presentation itself, it is going to provide a lot of information. So it is going to give them the excitement of why we're excited. So our aim is to give them the reason behind why we're having such a big problem with carbohydrates and sugars, and why there is a big health crisis for us, not just with carbs, but with sugars as well. And providing statistics, looking into explaining what the products are about, looking into the problem of inflammation. We're going to be utilising some of Dr. Aaron's and Dr. Rajan's videos because if we can't have them in physical presence, we're going to utilise those. We've got people that, like Stephen Hemsley, he's going to be in Sydney, so he's going to be explaining what the product knowledge is for M&C. And we've got Anne Copenhagen in Perth, and then Ange Johnson in the Gold Coast is going to be doing product knowledge. Cheryl Ann Porter is going to be travelling around with me, which is great. So I've got a travel buddy, which is awesome. So she's going to do the compensation plan for us, and she's a guru at it. So thank goodness that she is, because there's a few areas there that my brain doesn't go sometimes. So that's what Cheryl Ann will be doing. And we've got other important people like Lee Rafferty's going to be the Master of Ceremonies in Perth. We've got Alan Grant, who's an Australian Canadian. So he's going to be the Master of Ceremonies in Sydney. And Ange Johnson is going to be the Master of Ceremonies in the Gold Coast. And we've got other people behind the scenes that are doing things as well to help us in regards to meeting and greeting. We're going to acknowledge those distributors that are there and thank them for what they have been doing to date, because it has been such a long journey. But one thing's for certain is that I know that I can personally say, and I do believe this, that Dr. Rajan is very committed to making sure that this does work, because our aim between now and February, when we have our official launch, and we do not have an official date, we just know that it's going to be in February, so there's no official date. But we're aiming, he wants 3,000 distributors. We want 4,000. Well, the core business team that's been working behind the scenes, we're putting another 1,000 on top of that. So we'd appreciate any help that you guys can send in our direction. So I believe we can do it. It's because we've got the brilliant products, but it's just a matter of making sure that people are aware that full compensation plan for M&C, and it's still the availability to be able to order Climax and the availability to still be able to order Emulin E. They can continue on doing that in the same process as what they've been doing, and that is for personal use only. So it's either 1 bottle, 2 or 3 bottles maximum per order, and they still will be $20 per order in the shipping as to what they're paying to get that sent to here. So that can still occur. So for those people that are taking Emulin E, they can still continue on doing that. They can transfer over if they want to. And us as leaders, it's up to us to explain that they can still take that opportunity to do that and go that route if they want to, or they can go hopefully, with the M and the C, because they're going to have it at their doorstep within 5 to 7 working days from Sydney, depending on where they live. So, any questions?
Jackie, yeah. Jackie, could you explain full compensation for M and C, but availability for Climax and E? So example, if a distributor is doing full compensation M and C, but one of their distributors is buying Climax and Emulan E, is that not part of, they're not getting paid on that volume? Is that what you mean?
No, they do. What it means is that they can only order 3 at a time. So what will happen with those people, what's been happening in the existing to now is that we've been ordering 3 at a time. And we've been working our way up to a gold pack. Once we get to a gold pack, which is the 10 bottles, we send through the orders through to head office and we get a manual upgrade to platinum. So that's what has been happening for us with Igalen at this point in time. My understanding is from here on in, once M&C is available, their best option is to purchase M&C, and if they're a new person, and come on board, get to platinum, and take advantage of this fantastic offer of actually buying gold to platinum. So buying 10 bottles, and you don't have to buy the other 10, you're going straight to platinum. And then they can go in through via my store and then purchase Climax or Emulan E at the lowest wholesale price of $52 US. But still, they're only able to buy 3 bottles, and they get the business volume sent through as well. So there's still a business BV attached to Climax and Emulan E. The only difference is that we can only bring it in for personal use only, and it cannot be resold. So there's no transactions between one person to another under any circumstances with Climax or Emulan E. It's just for personal use only, but you still get the business volume and you're still getting paid on that through the compensation plan. It just means that we can only bring it in for personal use. So any of your distributors that are in underneath you and are ordering in that manner, that volume's still flowing up through for you on that side, and it still works for you as a leader to be able to get those accumulative BV points on your weak and your strong side, and then to be able to cycle and get your $62.50 and so forth. So it just means that it's not for personal use. Well, it is for personal use, sorry, only.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? No. Wow. So I need you to make sure that you send through information to us, because anybody that you do know down here, we obviously, when they do register on Eventbrite, there's a section in there that will say who has referred you. So obviously you're going to put your own name in there. If you want one of us to look after you, Cheryl Ann and myself will be at each one of those events. So if you even slash, you know, if you said Brian MacArthur sending along somebody like this person, so Sam Jones may be registered, and the person that's referred him is Brian MacArthur, and I'd slash Cheryl Ann Porter or slash Jackie Boyle, because at least that way we know who Brian MacArthur is, or they'll know who it's attached to. Obviously, we're not going to take your person, Brian, but it helps that they've got somebody that they can recognise, because you can say, hey, go and look up this lady because I know her and she'll help you and make sure that you're looked after. And that's the idea behind it. So, and then I'll send you the bill afterwards. Cheryl Ann and I will. But it just trying to make it a little bit easier for you to bring Australian people on board from living on the other side of the continent. So they need to have a friendly face, and you need to have somebody that you can trust. And you need to be able to know that they're looked after, and you're sending them to somebody that's going to do that for you as if they are, you know, one of your own. And that's what we need to do. That's what network marketing is about. And that's the great thing about this company.
Hugs and kisses.
Hugs and kisses. I'm an expensive hugs and kisses person, Brian. I won't say.
Boy, I can't wait to see you the next time, honest to God.
Because as you know a little bit
I
more.
got a couple of jokes to send you that'll have your head swimming. I guarantee you.
Well, be prepared for what you'll get back in return.
Love it. Can't wait.
Oh dear. So, in all honesty, like, we are really super excited, and I have to honestly say that there has been, and I am going to put out a big kudos to every single distributor, every single leader in Australia and New Zealand that have held out the patience, because it hasn't been easy. But we are getting to the point in time where we're going to be able to go forward with M&C, and be able to then take full advantage of the compensation plan and expand our business, grow our business, and take it out into the community and benefit people's health. In the core business team, I really want to thank, I could not do what we are doing without Cheryl Ann Porter. And I've got to make sure I get my page, because if I forget any of them, they'll shoot me. It's not a logie, but I mean, it's like to make sure the right people. But Cheryl Ann's been instrumental. Lee Rafferty's been amazing for me as well. Alan Grant has been instrumental also. Angela Johnson has just been, her energy is just incredible. That's what you get when you're younger. Not that we're not young, but she's younger than what we are, and got 8 kids. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know where she finds all the energy. Anne Copenhagen's been incredible too. Like, she's been really helping out. Uzma Jadoon, who was in Vegas with me, so she was over there as well. Stephen Hemsley, he's been really amazing too. Jay Stevenson and Michelle Dixon have been involved, but they have had commitments that haven't been able to help them on board as much as would have liked. But those that have been involved with it have actually put a lot in there as to what their time availability has been. But I really do want to honestly say I could not have done this without Cheryl Ann Porter. I could not have done it without Angela Johnson's help, Lee Rafferty's, and because those main core people have really been instrumental in regards to getting this up and moving, because it's been a very big job to date. But it's going to be very successful, and we hope that you guys can support us to help us grow here in Australia. And we welcome you, that if you want to put your people and sponsor them under us, that's great, we'll take it. No, just joking.
Sort of.
No, I am joking. We welcome it, because we really want to expand iGalen. And, and the more that we can expand it into communities, the better it is for us, because the more we can get it out into different cultures as well. Because Australia, if you really think about it, you have the best opportunity ever in Australia, because we are the most multicultural country in the world. We have the most multicultural country in regards to having that many different types of nationalities here in Australia, that if you tap into those different types of countries, or I should say nationalities, it's a little gold mine sitting there. So from a business perspective, look into the Asian market, look into the Pakistani market, because they're all living here in Australia. There are whole communities everywhere. It's just a massive, big area on this one big island that we have. And if you think outside the square, you'll grow your business. And that's what we aim to do with it. So a lot of opportunities there for you. So anything else that you'd like to ask anybody? No? Okay, so what we will look at doing is, please stay on board. Don't go anywhere. So please ask me. I can put in there in the chat line in regards, well, on the invitation anyway, there's the info.igalenaustralia@gmail.com. So that's the main email address that's going through to iGalen, and we have access to as well. Or you can send it through to us personally if you need help as well, but it's still going to go straight through to iGalen anyway. Everything's completely transparent. As I said, they have all the passwords to go through to everything. And I say that, I know that sounds like a little bit of a crack record with that, but I just want people to know that even though, because we do not have the physical presence of a representative from IGALN, like from corporate. We've made sure that we're covering ourselves, that IGALN is involved with this and there's complete transparency, that they have access to everything. So they can see everything that's going on through emails and whatnot. So invitations that are going out, they're seeing what's happening through Eventbrite as it's coming through. So everybody that comes through is being assessed through IGALN. So we're just making sure that we're covering ourselves and everybody's aware that it's not anything that's just being run by a select few. So then therefore we're controlling that. IGALN is very much behind this. And just to let you all know, IGALN is funding these 3 events too. So even though we're running them and we're operating them, thankfully IGALN has come on board and helped us. So they're funding these events to make these possible, because otherwise they would not have been possible. So we're really grateful that Dr. Rajen and Mr. Chen Hang Fai have actually come on board and helped us out to be able to make this possible, because otherwise it wouldn't have been. And so that's just something I do want to say. And I will put a big kudos out to in the head office and behind the scenes is Yutul and Wei Ling and Juliet. Those 3 ladies that work for Dr. Rajen, they work tirelessly. They can be contacting me 10 o'clock Sydney time, which is 8 o'clock their time. Those women work just over and above and beyond. They're accessible pretty much 7 days of the week if needed. So they are pretty phenomenal, and I just really want to put a big thank you out, because I hope that they do get to listen to this, because they're the unsung heroes that are doing a lot of work behind the scenes that never probably get a pat on the back for all the work that they do for all of you, for all of us. They're doing a lot there. So outside of that, if anyone's got any questions, otherwise we might wrap this up, and please stay on the line for me. So nothing anyone wants to ask?
One thing, Jackie, do you have any idea when you might have the link for the live feed?
The link for the live feed's just going to be, what we've tried to do is, the costs have been pretty exorbitant. So, and I'll say that direct that's what has happened. So I'm going to use my Zoom link, so it will be this link. So I'm going to set this up in the at each location and have it set up, and the audio people are going to help, so we can open it up so anybody can come on and just watch and come in and see what's happening with the presentation. So if they want to listen to the whole lot, they can. So it's just my link that we're going to be using because it's an endless one in time frame side of things. So
okay, thank you.
But please reach out if you need any help. If you've got people that you want help with, we're happy to do that for you. And I said, we'll send you the bill afterwards. No. I can't help it. I'm sorry.
We love it.
So I will owe you all my life rather than do out of it.
That's a good way of putting it, isn't it? But, you know, the great thing is with this company, and that's what, you know, being fortunate enough to have met a lot of you by going to Vegas, which was just a pure, and every time that I look at the clip on from Vegas that was cut down, I get goosebumps and I get tears, because it was just something that I don't think we will ever experience again at that level. But it's just really given that really beautiful connection, that to know that you've met a lot of you face to face, it just makes it even so much more special. So that when we're doing things like this, and when you guys have got things happening over there, I know that I can send somebody to any of you, and I know that you'll look after them as if I'm doing it. And that's the beauty of IGALN. You know, it is people helping people, and you know that you can trust people. And that's a really, a very unique situation that we have with this, and it's a very unique platform that we have. And I think I can honestly say it starts from the top. You know, Dr. Rajen has really put that out there, you know, and he's really instilled that in everybody right from the beginning, that that's what this company is about, that we do want to help each other. And it doesn't matter if you cross line, if you're not going to benefit from it, but it's nice to be able to help somebody else, because it's a really good feeling, because it'll come back somewhere where you can help each other somewhere down the track. So I really enjoy it for that side of it, because it's nice to know that you're improving somebody else's health. just by being able to give them some time. And time's free, realistically. Time is free if you choose to look at it that way. So I just want to thank everybody for coming onto the call today. And please get excited with us. So we'll keep you updated. I've got things going on Facebook all the time, as you've probably seen, because I'm getting really excited because it's like the countdown. So I'll keep you up to date, and we are going to have photos, and we'll have some videos and do all of the, the crazy stuff to make sure that you can see what's happening on the at the event itself. And we'll keep you up to speed there. So I just want to thank you all, and yeah, just stay on board, and we'll catch you next week. We've got testimonials. So make sure that you do venture on board for that with the Fab Five at the same time. So if you've got anybody within your team that you think that has a testimonial that they'd like to share down the track, please get in touch with Debbie, Lee, or myself so that we can invite them in, because as you know, they're probably one of the main, the best powerful tools that we have by somebody sharing their testimonial, because that within itself is worth so much money. So yeah, if we can try and do that, that would be great to try and encourage people. So, all right.
Thank you, Jackie. This was awesome. This was a very good presentation. Lots of detail that we needed. Thanks so much.
Fantastic. Sorry, Jack, I've just thought of something else. Will you be recording each event?
Yes.
It just popped into my mind that oh great, because if someone's in another country and it's the middle of their night or something.
Yeah, no, we're going to. I'll put it right on your face, Lee.
You don't want to scare them off.
All right, then I just want to thank everybody, and we'll catch you next week. So stay online though, okay?
Thanks, Jack.
Okay, bye everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.